The ultimatum of stars. The message arrived on a stormy Thursday night. Commander Elena Vasquez stood on the observation deck of the International Space Station's New Hawking Wing, watching lightning flicker across North America. The communication officer's voice crackled through her earpiece with unusual urgency. "Commander, you need to see this. Now." 10 minutes later, Elena stared at the screen displaying patterns that defied natural explanation. The signal had appeared simultaneously at radio observatories in Chile, Australia, and Kazakhstan. It pulsed with mathematical precision. Prime numbers, then the hydrogen frequency, then something more complex. A message, undoubtedly artificial and undeniably alien. "Are we responding?" asked Dr. Rajan Kapoor, the station's lead physicist. Elena's hand hovered over the communication panel. Not without authorization. She opened a direct line to Earth. "This is Commander Vasquez. We have first contact. I repeat, we have first contact." Within hours, the United Nations Security Council convened an emergency session. Leaders argued while scientists worked to decode the message. After 48 sleepless hours, they succeeded. The aliens wanted to talk. They called themselves the Galactic Council. They were coming to Earth in 7 days. World governments scrambled to prepare. Some nations mobilized their militaries. Others declared holidays of celebration. Religious groups proclaimed the end times or the beginning of a new age. Stock markets plummeted, then soared as speculation about alien technology created new investment frenzies. Dr. Maya Hendricks, Earth's foremost xenolinguist, was escorted by military personnel to a hastily assembled command center beneath the Rocky Mountains. She found herself in a room with 30 other specialists, physicists, diplomats, military strategists, and cultural anthropologists. The signal contained specifications for a translation device. Maya explained to the assembled experts. "They want to ensure we can communicate." General William Harker, the grizzled head of the United Nations Defense Force, frowned. "Or they want to make sure we build exactly what they tell us to build." Could be a trap. If they wanted to destroy us, they could have done it without introducing themselves, countered Ambassador Sarah Chen. "Let's build the device." They worked around the clock. Engineers from competing nations collaborated for the first time, setting aside decades of rivalry. The device took shape, a strange amalgamation of Earth technology and alien specifications. 3 days later, as the alien fleet entered the solar system, they activated it. "Greetings, people of Earth," came a voice that sounded like wind through crystal. "I am High Ambassador Zolteth of the Unified Galactic Council. We have observed your civilization's development with great interest." "Why have you come now?" asked UN Secretary General Okafor, chosen to speak for humanity. "Your species has reached a critical juncture. You have discovered faster than light theory and will soon achieve practical application. It is protocol to initiate contact at this stage." The Secretary General exchanged glances with his advisors. Earth's top scientists had indeed been making breakthroughs in FTL theory, but the public didn't know how close they were. "We bring the Standard Integration Treaty," continued Zolteth. "All developing species sign it when joining the galactic community. We will meet in person to discuss terms in 2 of your days." The transmission ended. Satellite imagery showed the alien fleet, 17 ships of varying design, taking up position around Earth's orbit. They made no aggressive moves, but their presence was impossible to ignore. For 48 hours, Earth waited. Nations set aside their differences as humanity faced its first extraterrestrial diplomatic challenge. When the appointed time arrived, the Council delegation landed at a neutral site in Antarctica, away from population centers. Maya Hendricks was among the 12 humans selected to represent Earth. As she donned her cold weather gear, Ambassador Chen pulled her aside. "Trust your instincts," Chen said quietly. "If something feels wrong, it probably is. We're counting on your linguistic skills to catch what the rest of us might miss." The meeting facility gleamed with hastily assembled prefabricated structures. Inside, Atmospheric controls created a neutral environment for both species. Maya and the other representatives entered the central chamber where 7 alien delegates waited. They were nothing like Maya had imagined. Each represented a different species from the council. One resembled a 10-foot-tall mantis with iridescent kitten. Another floated in what appeared to be a personal atmosphere bubble, its body a collection of luminous gases. A third looked almost human, save for its silvery skin and eyes that reflected light like mirrors. High Ambassador Zolteth stepped forward. He appeared to be a bipedal reptilian with feather-like scales and shimmering blues and greens. His translator pendant glowed as he spoke. "We welcome Earth to the galactic community," he said, his mouth forming words that didn't match the translated sound. "For 50,000 years, the Council has maintained peace among spacefaring civilizations. Now you will join us." A small hovering drone presented a crystal data cube to Secretary General Okafor. "This contains the Standard Integration Treaty," explained Zolteth. "Study it carefully. We will reconvene in 3 days for your formal acceptance." Maya's eyes narrowed at his phrasing. Not negotiation. Acceptance. Back at the command center, experts worked frantically to access the data cube. It contained a document over 12,000 pages long, written in 27 languages from Earth plus an alien script. 3 days isn't enough time to properly review this, complained Dr. Kapoor as they divided sections among specialists. Maya focused on the linguistic nuances, searching for hidden meanings or deliberate mistranslations. By the second day, disturbing patterns emerge. "Look at this section," she told the assembled team, highlighting text on the main screen. "It states that Earth must halt all independent space exploration beyond our solar system." Ambassador Chen pointed to another passage. "And this gives the Council exclusive mining rights to all asteroids and outer planets." General Harker's face darkened as he reviewed the military provisions. "They require us to dismantle 90% of our defense systems and place the remainder under Council control. In exchange for protection and technology," noted Dr. Kapoor. "Technology that's carefully restricted," countered Maya. "Notice how they promise appropriate technological assistance without specifying what's appropriate. And look at the voting structure. Earth would be classified as a developing member with no real council vote for 300 years. The team worked through the night, mapping out the treaty's full implications. By morning, the conclusion was inescapable. This wasn't an invitation to join a community of equals. It was colonization by another name. Maya's linguistic analysis discovered something even more troubling. "The translation is subtly manipulated," she explained. "The English version emphasizes benefits while downplaying obligations. The Mandarin version does the opposite. They're trying to create confusion and division among us." Secretary General Okafor called an emergency session with world leaders. "The Council isn't offering partnership," he said grimly. "They're offering subjugation with a smile." "Can we negotiate better terms?" asked the Brazilian president. "I don't think negotiation is what they have in mind," replied Maya. "Their language suggests this is a standard process they've used many times before. They expect compliance, not discussion." "Then what are our options?" asked the Russian president. "Their technology is clearly superior. Their ships could destroy our major cities in minutes." General Harker cleared his throat. "Maybe not, sir. There's something you should see." He revealed classified images from military satellites. The alien ships, impressive as they were, showed signs of weapon damage and hasty repairs. "They're not as invincible as they want us to think," Harker said. "And there's something else." "Dr. Kapoor, would you explain?" The physicist brought up data from deep space monitoring stations. "We've detected unusual radiation patterns at the edge of our solar system, consistent with a major battle. I believe the Council fleet came here after fighting somewhere else. They may be more vulnerable than they appear." A tense silence filled the room. Earth's leaders faced the most consequential decision in human history: accept alien domination or risk everything on defiance. "They expect us to sign without question," said Maya. "What if we don't?" The Secretary General looked around the room, meeting the eyes of each world leader. Then we show them humanity doesn't surrender its future without a fight. Maya spent the final night before the deadline creating a response document. Not a counterproposal. The Council had made it clear negotiation wasn't an option, but a declaration. As she worked, she couldn't shake the feeling that Earth stood at a precipice. Whatever happened tomorrow would change human history forever. Morning came too quickly. As the human delegation prepared to return to Antarctica, Maya felt the weight of 4 billion years of evolution resting on their shoulders. Humans, the descendants of creatures that had survived ice ages, asteroid impacts, and their own self-destructive tendencies, were about to face their greatest test. Ambassador Chen squeezed Maya's hand as they boarded the transport. "Whatever happens," she said quietly, "we face it together. As one species." Maya nodded, clutching the data tablet that contained humanity's response. She hoped it wouldn't be the last message of a free Earth. Humanity unbowed. High Ambassador Zolteth's feather scales flared with iridescent patterns as the human delegation entered the meeting chamber. Maya recognized the display as anticipation. The alien expected a swift conclusion to what he considered a routine process. He would be disappointed. "Have you reviewed the Standard Integration Treaty?" Zolteth asked without preamble. "Are you prepared for formal acceptance?" Secretary General Okafor stepped forward. "We have reviewed your document thoroughly," he said, his voice steady. "And we have prepared our response." Maya handed him the data tablet. The Secretary General activated it, projecting its contents onto the main display screen. The title appeared in both Earth languages and the Council script. Deceleration of Sovereign Intent, Earth's response to the Galactic Council. Zolteth's translator pendant flickered as he processed the unexpected development. The mantis-like council member clicked its mandibles rapidly. The gaseous entity's containment bubble pulsed with changing colors. "This is irregular," said Zolteth, his voice losing its smooth diplomatic tone. "The Standard Integration Treaty is not subject to counteroffer or modification." "This isn't a counteroffer," replied Okafor calmly. "It's our answer." Maya watched the aliens carefully as Secretary General Okafor began reading the declaration. Each translated paragraph seemed to increase their agitation. Humanity acknowledges the Galactic Council's contact and recognizes the existence of a wider galactic community. However, Earth must decline the terms of the Standard Integration Treaty as presented. The silvery humanoid alien stepped forward. "Decline? No emerging species has ever declined. The treaty is mandatory for all civilizations achieving faster-than-light capability." "We haven't achieved FTL travel yet," noted Ambassador Chen. "But you soon will," countered Zolteth. "The treaty is preventative. It ensures new species integrate properly into the established order." General Harker, standing at parade rest behind the Secretary General, spoke for the first time. "You mean it ensures we know our place?" Okafor continued reading. "Earth proposes instead a relationship of mutual respect between sovereign entities. We welcome cultural exchange, scientific collaboration, and fair trade agreements. We are open to joining a true galactic community as equals, but we will not surrender our independence, our resources, or our right to self-determination." The mantis alien's clicking grew louder. The gaseous entity's bubble turned a deep crimson. Zolteth's scales flattened against his body. "A sign of anger," Maya guessed. "This is unprecedented," he said. "The Council has brought 342 species into the galactic community. All accepted the treaty. Perhaps it's time for the process to evolve," suggested Maya. Zolteth ignored her, focusing on Secretary General Okafor. "You do not understand the consequences of rejection. The treaty is not optional. Council protocol for non-compliant species is clear." The threat hung in the air. Ambassador Chen leaned forward. "Are you threatening military action against Earth?" "The Council maintains galactic peace through a unified approach," said the silvery humanoid. "Exceptions cannot be permitted." General Harker stepped forward. Before you make threats, Ambassador, you should know that we've analyzed your fleet. Your ships show battle damage. You're not operating at full capacity. The aliens visibly reacted. Zolteth's scales rippled with patterns Maya couldn't interpret. You are mistaken, he said, but his voice lacked conviction. We also detected radiation signatures consistent with a major space battle at the edge of our system, added Dr. Kapoor. You came here after fighting someone else, someone who hurt you. The chamber fell silent. The council members conferred among themselves, using communication methods the translation devices couldn't capture. Finally, Zolteth turned back to the humans. The council is currently engaged in a disagreement with the Voidborn Collective, he admitted. This is temporary and does not affect our authority. It affects your capability, countered General Harker, and it might explain why you're so interested in Earth's resources and manpower. Maya studied the aliens' reactions. Their body language suggested Harker had hit close to the truth. The Standard Integration Treaty benefits all parties, insisted Zolteth. Earth receives protection, technological advancement. At the cost of our freedom, interrupted Okafor. That is a price we will not pay. The gaseous entity moved its bubble forward, pulsing with light patterns that the translator converted to speech. You believe you have a choice. This is incorrect. If diplomatic integration fails, military subjugation follows. This is Council protocol for 10,000 years. Maya felt a chill at the casual way the alien threatened genocide, but Secretary General Okafor remained calm. Before you consider that option, he said, there's something else you should know. He nodded to General Harker, who activated his own data device. Images appeared on the screen. Satellite photos showing massive structures hidden in Earth's mountain ranges, beneath its oceans, and on the far side of the moon. Since discovering your approach, we've accelerated certain defense projects, explained Harker. These are antimatter containment facilities. Each holds enough energy to destroy a fleet several times the size of yours. The aliens reacted with visible alarm. The mantis creature's limbs trembled. The gaseous entity's bubble contracted. You're bluffing, said Zolteth. Your civilization hasn't mastered antimatter production at that scale. Dr. Kapoor smiled thinly. We've been experimenting with antimatter for decades. Your arrival gave us the motivation to solve the remaining engineering challenges. We don't want conflict, said Okafor. But if forced to defend ourselves, Earth will fight. And we will ensure that victory costs more than any invader is willing to pay. The council members withdrew to confer again. This time their discussion appeared heated. Maya could see division among them. Some seemed aggressive, others cautious. When they returned, it was the silvery humanoid who spoke. I am Observer Telix of the Naveri. My species joined the Council 3,000 years ago, under the Standard Integration Treaty. He paused, glancing at his colleagues. In that time, I have never seen a challenge of terms, but there is a provision for it in the oldest council laws. Zolteth's scales flattened completely. That protocol is theoretical. It has never been invoked. Yet it exists, countered Telix, and given the current, strategic situation with the Voidborn, perhaps flexibility is advisable. Maya exchanged glances with Ambassador Chen. A crack had appeared in the Council's united front. What is this challenge of terms? Asked Okafor. A probationary relationship, explained Telix. Earth would remain sovereign while demonstrating its value to the Council. After one standard cycle, terms would be renegotiated based on demonstrated contributions. And if the Council attempts military action during this probation? Asked General Harker. The challenge includes a non-aggression pact, said Telix, binding on all Council members. Zolteth hissed something the translator didn't capture. The gaseous entity's bubble pulsed with rapid color changes. This is irregular, Zolteth repeated. The Council Supreme will not approve. The Council Supreme is concerned with the Voidborn advance in the Cygnus arm, countered Telex. A new conflict here would stretch our forces beyond capacity. The tension in the room was palpable as the aliens continued their disagreement. Maya realized with sudden clarity that the monolithic Galactic Council was not as unified as it presented itself. There were factions, politics, perhaps even ideological differences, just like humans. Finally, Zolteth turned back to the Earth delegation. "We will present the challenge of terms to the Council Supreme," he said, his voice strained. "Until a decision is rendered, Earth will remain under observation." "Not surveillance," corrected General Harker. "Observation from a respectful distance." The alien scales rippled with what might have been frustration. "As you wish. We will withdraw our fleet to the orbit of your moon." As the meeting concluded, Observer Telex approached Maya while the others were distracted. "Your species is either very brave or very foolish," he said quietly. "Possibly both." "We're survivors," replied Maya. "We've faced extinction many times and always found a way forward." Telex's reflective eyes studied her. "The Council has grown complacent with easy assimilations. Perhaps," he glanced at his colleagues, "perhaps a challenge is overdue." 3 days later, the Council fleet began withdrawing from Earth orbit as promised. Military satellites tracked them to lunar distance, where they maintained position. The immediate crisis had passed, but Earth remained on high alert. In the Rocky Mountain Command Center, Maya joined the core team to discuss next steps. "They'll be back," said General Harker, "with more ships and a different attitude once this void-born conflict is resolved." "Then we have to be ready," replied Ambassador Chen. "We need to advance our technology, strengthen our defenses, and learn more about the galactic political situation," added Maya. "This council isn't as unified as they pretend. We might find allies among their members or other independent species." Secretary General Okafor nodded. For the first time in human history, all nations faced the same external challenge. "We can't afford our usual divisions anymore. We should establish a direct communication line with Observer Telex," suggested Maya. He seemed more reasonable than the others. "Agreed," said Okafor. "And we should accelerate the Antarctic Research Facility into a permanent diplomatic outpost for future meetings." As the others discussed logistics, Maya stepped away to the observation window overlooking the mountain range. The stars were visible above the peaks, countless points of light representing worlds humans had only dreamed about until now. Somewhere out there, a galactic power struggle was unfolding. Earth was just one small player in a game much larger than humanity had imagined. But they had made their first move with unexpected strength. The universe had just learned something that Earth's own history had proven many times. Humans don't follow the expected script. They don't surrender when threatened. They don't choose safety over freedom. And most importantly, they should never be underestimated. Maya smiled at the stars. The Galactic Council had arrived expecting easy submission from a primitive species. Instead, they'd encountered the unpredictable, stubborn determination that had carried humanity from caves to space in a cosmic eye blink. Humanity's greatest adventure was just beginning.